And so then we began talking about how you might utilize your guidance system. You're always blessed, so we don't need to do it now. So then we began talking about your guidance system and how to recognize and utilize it in an effective way. We began to explain to you that when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. And every time you launch a rocket of what you do want, even with that slightest little bit of momentum, the source energy part of you gives attention to that momentum. Gives attention to the momentum of what you want. And the process of the source within you giving attention to the things that you're asking for, not the things you're pushing against, but the things you're asking for, has created this momentum, this path of least resistance that has resulted in this conceptual, it's a reality, but you can't see it, vortex. It's a vibrational reality. It's a culmination of what you've been asking for, and it's vivid and real, and it's where the source within you is, and it's what the source within you focuses upon. So when you ask for more money is vibrationally gathered for you. You can tell by the way you feel whether you're a vibrational match to what you've gathered or whether you're pushing against. There are two ways you can feel. One is you can feel it through your emotions. The other is you can notice what's unfolding for you. Because what you think and how you feel and what manifests always matches. You are a wonderful group of humans on this planet today. Leading edge like has never been before. And you're asking with stronger emphasis than ever before. And you've created a vortex, a vibrational reality that has the potential of manifesting in your experience in such wondrous ways, collectively and individually. But you have got to figure out a way to be a vibrational match to that part that you've been asking for, that source is in complete agreement and focused upon. Because it doesn't matter how much source focuses upon who you really are and all of the details of life that you have carved out. You are the creator of your own reality, which means you are the synthesizer of your vibration, which means you've got to find vibrational alignment with what you've been asking for before it can flow into your experience, before it can be realized by you in a way that you can see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it, and others can see it in your experience as well. And so we began talking after the vortex conversation. We began talking about the grid, your point of attraction. So you've launched these creations, and source is with them, focused upon them, maintaining the vibrational integrity of them, keeping them alive, keeping them going, and keeping law of attraction responding to them so that your dreams are growing. And now you have to figure out how to be in the vibrational frequency of what you've been asking for, or it cannot be realized by you. So that's where we're at these days. All of these topics, the law of attraction and the science of deliberate creation and the astonishing power of your emotions and the magnificent vortex that has been gathered are all represented in full form in books out there on the counters, because each of those phases of the evolution of your understanding has been documented for you so that you can find your way through it if you want to. But today, what we want to talk with you about is your point of attraction, where you stand right here and now. What are you letting in? Because you've sifted and you've sorted and you've launched lots of rockets, and source has seen and ridden those rockets and is retaining the vibrational integrity of them. All you've got to do, and we really mean that in that sense, all you've got to do is find somehow, some way to stop doing that thing that you do that keeps you from being a vibrational match to what's in your vortex. For a while we were saying to you, just get in the vortex, get in the vortex. And of course you can't get in there unless you're the same vibrational frequency, because the vortex just spits you out. It's happy. If you're not, off you go. It's abundant. If you're feeling lack, off you go. It's clarity. If you're confused, off you go. In other words, you've got to do something in order to meet what you've been asking for. You can't demand it. Your parents sort of trained you a little wrong. When you're demanding with your parents and they finally give in because they can't take it anymore, they do you a big disservice because they show you something that the law of the universe will not show you. You've got to be of the frequency. You have to be a match to your desire. You cannot be a match to the absence of your desire and have your desire flow into your experience. You can complain all you want. You can picket all you want. You can demand all you want. You can make others feel guilty about the absence of wonderful things in your life all you want. But what's really going on is, without exception, well-being is flowing to you steadily and constantly. And you got to figure out how to let it in. And you can tell by the way you feel, whether you are or whether you're not. So, point of attraction. We've been calling it your grid, your point of attraction. We want you to feel this emotional place that you are standing. If you wake up and you get focused upon something and you feel grouchy and ornery, you're on this ornery disc, so to speak. And when you're there, you've just got to notice that anybody in your vicinity who's ornery seems to hop on there with you. We hear you sometimes saying to others, you know, you're really ornery. You need to get away from me. And we say, you invited them in. No, I didn't. I really didn't, Abraham. I'm certain that I did not invite that in. And we said, if it's in, you invited it. Because there is no assertion in this universe that's based upon attraction. When you say yes to something, you include something wanted in your vibration. When you say no to something, you include something unwanted in your vibration. You're doing it all. And you can do it better than you have been doing if you understand the power of the law of attraction, and if you understand momentum. If you will begin to focus upon the thoughts that feel good in their early stages and stay with them until the momentum is greater, you will benefit by that increase in momentum. If you are aware of something that doesn't feel good when you focus upon it, and as soon as you are aware that it doesn't feel good, you will withdraw your attention from it and put your attention someplace else, the momentum of that will stop. It is our absolute promise to you that it will. But don't wait until you're at the bottom of the hill to try to stop the momentum. Sometimes it's like you say, Abraham, I've fallen out of an airplane and I don't have a parachute on. What do you suggest that I do now? And we say, hang on, it'll be over in a little bit. And that's what we want to say to you about all negative momentum. Do your best to just withdraw your attention from it. It will peter out if you don't keep feeding it. It will stop if you don't keep feeding it, you see. Which means tomorrow morning when you wake up, try to hold yourself in conscious thought about something that feels good for just a little while until you get a little bit of momentum going. That's your best shot at the positive momentum. And the negative momentum, even though we've written so many processes and they are in so many books and we love you so much and every single process was written in order to assist you in ceasing the path of least resistance toward unwanted and beginning the path of least resistance toward wanted. Really, the easiest way to do it is just to make a decision that when you get up in the morning, you've got a clean slate, because you do. And you know why? Because while you were asleep, your momentum stopped. And when you wake up, you can start it anywhere you want to. Now, we acknowledge that it's likely when you first start this that you're probably going to start your momentum sort of the way it was yesterday, because you've got a memory and because people around you are responding to you in the way they are and because you're observing what is, and what is pretty powerful to observe. So we get it that if what is isn't full of all the things you want, or even more is containing some things you don't want, we get it how your attention to what is continuing the momentum. But you can change that. You can have a paradigm shift. You can move your vibrational point of attraction, and you can do it easily within 30 days. And every day that you wake up determined to do it will be easier than the day before, until a week or two into waking up and acknowledging, hey, I'm awake, and hey, law of attraction is beginning again, and hey, while I was slumbering, my point of attraction ceased, and hey, I get to choose what I focus upon, what would be a good thing for me to focus upon. Before long, you'll have a handful of things that you always feel good about when you think about them, that you will give your attention to, and before you know it, you will get that momentum going so that you will be on what we are calling your high-flying disc. Esther said, Abraham, as you're describing these discs, there's this one where love and elation and passion is, and there's that one when despair and fear is, and then there's the ornery disc. Esther said it's a little bit like the 7 dwarves. There's the happy disc and there's the grumpy disc, and she's identified about 200 dwarfs now. Defensive dwarf and passive-aggressive dwarf. But we want you to not spend too much time trying to identify what to call your disc, and instead, we want you to feel your way onto that high-flying disc where you belong. And when you do, when you figure out how to sustain that frequency for a day and then another and then another and then another and then another, what you're going to begin to notice is that the things that you've been asking for that are already in a very high frequency in this vibrational reality, because the source within you has been tending to them, when you get your vibration up there and you sustain it, this is the important thing. You chronically hold it. You sustain it. You're consistent in that vibration. Not high-low, not happy-sad, not manic-depressive, not happy when there's something happy to look at and ornery when there's something ornery to look at, but holding your own vibration because you mean to, and more important, holding it because you've practiced it, and after a little while holding it because it's easy to do. Then what happens is the contents of your vibrational reality begin flowing into your reality. You begin realizing them. Thoughts begin to flow to you. Timing is really, really good. You begin rendezvousing with other people. And the details of your life begin filling in with the flesh, blood, and bone that you want, so that you can hear and see and smell and taste and touch all of these details that you have been wanting. We know that you have a dream lover, and you have a dream house, and you have a dream car, and you have dream behavior of your children, and you have all of these things that you've been dreaming about. And we want you to know they can be realities, but you've got to believe them before they can be realities. And if you keep practicing the drum of complaining about your children's behavior, or complaining about your financial experience right now, or complaining about your body weight or your body condition, if you're complaining about anything, you're practicing a vibration that does not allow you to achieve the frequency that you must achieve before what you want, which is at that high frequency, can flow into your experience. And what's flowing in is always a match to where you are. This vortex that the source within you is tending to is a very high frequency vortex where everything that you want is. But you've got vibrational realities all over the place. Every time you worried, every time you complained, there are all kinds of things that can manifest in your experience. You just get to choose. And don't you know? Don't you say, well, I saw that coming. I saw that coming. I could feel that was coming. It's because you've been hanging out in a frequency that allowed it to come. And even before it got there, you sensed it. So, how about that? Make perfect sense to you? We've just explained to you everything that you will ever need to know to be the powerful, deliberate creator of your own reality. And when you get hold of that, it is so much fun. Maintain that high frequency for a while. And then new ideas begin to flow to you from that high frequency. Questions still come, but you're in a place where the question doesn't knock your legs out from under you, or the problem doesn't knock your legs out from under you. It's just a clarifying point that helps you to continue to expand. You're eternal beings, and you never get it done. And we are eager to talk with you about anything that matters to you. We see our greatest advantage to you in reminding you that we see what's in your vortex, and that's where we are. So if you want to talk about what you want, we're eager to talk with you about it. But we want to call you toward the conversation that puts you here, not the conversation that puts you here. The conversation that puts you in the frequency of where what you want is, rather than the frequency that deprives you of what you want. So we'll be guiding you a bit and willing to listen, but guiding you. Sometimes it's delightful because we reach out among you, and we can feel those of you who have something that you want who are in the vicinity of it. And it's so fun to pluck you and visit with you and practice the frequency that we then know puts you in the place of certain and immediate manifestation of what you want.